Lads, I thought that last week was a step in a positive direction. I thought last week was a step in a positive direction, but clearly not. Clearly not. Because we have gone back to the same crap that we had a few weeks ago. And it's this. It's this. Kevin Durant, 15k for Amethyst KD. Amethyst KD is 2000 MT, by the way. Just a heads up. Amethyst KD is 2000 MT. So even if you want to equate VC to MT, you are paying 7 times more VC than you would MT to buy this card. Whereas at least with Kareem last week, if you paid 200k VC, you got 400k MT back. At least it was double. It was a half the VC to MT, whereas this time it's 7 times more. So value-wise, like you have to be a new player to buy this. Basically, you have to have no idea what's going on in the mode to buy this. But I thought they were taking steps in the right direction, because if you guys look at the prices, everyone's like, oh, but the price of DeMar DeRozan was too expensive. They can't do that again. Dude, Kevin Durant right now is like 700 and something K. Ricky Davis again is 700k. I've seen Kevin Durant go for way more than that. This Kevin Durant is like 50. So again, these two guys right here combine for like 100k less than DeRozan and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar without a lock-in. At least last week got us Tim Thomas. At least you got Tim Thomas. Obviously there are no DeRozans left because, well, everyone locked in for Tim Thomas. DeRozan will go down when super packs are out. It is what it is. Highly likely case of us getting DeMar DeRozan as a Christmas code, which is why I'm keeping all of these players. And then, even if you did want to say to hold on, like you can get Kareem for cheap. So what happened last week? Everybody went going in uproar about last week. Oh, it's 2K predatory monetization. Everything in this world is predatory monetization. At least if you didn't like last week, if you didn't want to open packs, if you just had MT, you had some coins, you could get Kareem for really cheap. This week, you don't get Ricky Davis or Kevin Durant for really cheap. Both of them are really expensive. And I guarantee you, if there was a lock-in like Tim Thomas, both of these guards would be over $1 million, and it would be more expensive. It would be more expensive. So, basically, I feel like this is a huge step backwards, and let me explain why. Everybody's saying, oh, but like, it was so expensive, not everyone can buy this card. Sure, I get it. But it made the card cheaper on the auction house. That argument is just completely wrong. Because it made the card cheaper on the auction house. It made the card more accessible to everybody. To literally everybody. The only people that last week didn't benefit were the pack addicts. The pack addicts were the only people that last week didn't benefit. But in general, I'm probably one of the only creators that isn't a damn pack addict. I could not care less about buying these cards. Couldn't care less about putting money into the game. With the amount of hours that I put into this game, like, I put in thousands of hours a year. Me throwing in more money than $50, okay. Because as much as I did love other video games as a kid, I can say, oh, video games should only be $50, and I do agree with that. I do agree. But I want to, maybe if I want to buy someone better, and I have the opportunity to do it, I have nothing against doing it. You don't have to get Kareem. You don't have to get Kevin Durant. But like this isn't good for anybody. But like last week's situation, and I cannot stress it enough, the worst thing about sports games now is I'm not even going to say it's crazy monetization. Because I think that's a general problem in the world right now. I'm a fan of Leeds United Football Club. We send out new products every single week. Stupid new products every single week. We had a Viva Leeds jersey last week. I have no idea why. At all. We had a jersey that said Viva Leeds on it. Like, it is just crazy. It makes absolutely no sense. Everything is just for money now in the world. Like, that's a much bigger problem. That is a much bigger issue than just 2K. But what happened last week was anyone who wanted Kareem pretty much could get Kareem. The fact his MT total at times was it peaked at 400, went as low as 180, 190k. So lads, for like 200k, at this stage in the game, you can get 200k from just doing stuff in game. From selling some cards, from playing the game. You can get 200k in a week. 2 weeks max. You can build up 200k empty. And an awful lot of people have had that ability to go and just sell a bunch of their cards. They had the ability to sell a load of their cards and buy a cream if they wanted to. Now, if you look at this season 2, not that many people have got the 700k needed for him, or the 700k needed for him. You can't get either. So like everyone being like, oh, last week was a horrible thing. The alternative is this crap, and it's neither. Should the card have been cheaper than 200k to get a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Yes, of course. Of course, $50 for one card is ridiculous. But when the alternative is gambling for the card, it's a better alternative. I'm sorry, it is. And it's a better alternative for I would be shocked if these packs sold more. I would be shocked if they made more money this week than last week despite Kevin Durant beating packs. I would be shocked because I reckon more people. I reckon not only did 2K make more money, it was less predatory and it was a better alternative. Was it the best possible situation? No. Can we keep pushing to get this game more consumer friendly? Of course, but it's a step in the right direction. Lads, this is 4 steps backwards because at least 2 weeks ago we had 35k VC for a diamond. And you know what that does? Guys, for anyone who doesn't want to spend money on this game, everyone's like, oh, it's too expensive. What about the people that can't spend money? Okay. I get that argument. Fully valid argument. For those people, the cards become cheaper. Like, LeBron. Kevin Durant is 60, 70,000 MT. You're lucky if you get Kevin Durant for 60k MT. LeBron was 25 and Ron Artest was 12k MT. He was 12 and 25. You could buy Ron Artest, LeBron James twice over for the price of Kevin Durant. Could they not have at least just put Diamond Kevin Durant here for 35? Because at least that's a card that we didn't get on day one. This is literally a day one card. And for everyone being like, why are you getting so angry? You're getting angry that people don't have to spend the money. No, people have to spend more money. Do people not understand this argument? Do people not understand what the alternative is? The alternative to what we saw last week is people spending more money and more MT. If the Kareem pack was not there, you see how rare DeRozan is? That's how rare Kareem would be. Kareem would be 1.2 million, DeRozan would probably be 1 million. Instead of 1.5 for both of them to 2 million, it would be 2.5 to 3 million for both of them if the Kareem situation didn't happen last week. You guys do realize that, don't you? So that doesn't benefit anybody. And then anyone who wanted Kareem has to gamble. It took away a gambling aspect of the game, gave people that are already putting in money an opportunity to get something without gambling, and those who don't want to spend money had the cards for cheaper in the auction house. I don't get why everyone's like, oh, they're promoting 2K, promoting monetary practices. It's like, I will promote the lesser of two evils. Yes, it is 100% wrong, the amount of monetary practice. I know, but I would rather support the lesser of two evils. I would rather support something that makes the game more accessible, makes it cheaper. Everything is more expensive this week than last week. Everything is more expensive this week than last week. Do we not see that? Every card is more expensive than it was last week. Like, what? Like, what? I don't get it. I don't get it. Like, this is objectively, not only is it bad for the player base, it's probably bad for Take-Two Interactive's pockets themselves. And we know how important the microtransactions are because, like, it's out there that, like, the CEO gets his bonuses based on microtransaction sales. It can't be good for their pockets. It's not good for the pockets of the player because instead of a guarantee, let's look at the odds. Less than 2%, which means you're paying 200k for nothing. You're paying 200k for nothing, lads. Whereas at least if you just wanted Kevin Durant, you could at least go and buy him if they did what they did last week. You could at least go and buy him. Whereas now, if you want Kevin Durant, you got to gamble. If you don't want to gamble, tough. And you know what the most effective way of buying Kevin Durant is? The most effective way of buying Kevin Durant is right now? The black market. What 2K did last week was, no, I'm not going to say eliminate it, but take one step towards eliminating a black market and overall bringing in general the cost of the mode down. Because there's so much MT there. But it's all supply and demand. But if you increase the supply, while the demand is never going to go up or down, if 2K find a way to increase the supply of cards, the prices are going to go down. These situations are more beneficial. I'm almost certain that like 90% of people that would have bought that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar are using the black market to buy Kevin Durant this week. I don't get it. I just don't get it from everyone's perspective. From the player perspective, this is bad. From the internal perspective, this is bad, monetary wise. From the entire just game perspective, it's bad. Who the hell cares if there's Kevin Durant's running everywhere? I couldn't care less if there's Kareem's running around everywhere. Who cares? If it's more accessible to people, who cares? Why gatekeep cards? We're so early in the year anyway. Gatekeep Tim Thomas, fair enough. Why gatekeep a card like Kevin Durant where most people are not going to even be good with the card? I don't get it. This is bad. Do I think that last week was too expensive? Of course. Of course I do. Do I think that anyone should be forced to buy a card in game? No. And my big problem at the start of the year I have no problem with these cards right here. But my big problem about this in Season 1 was not that these cards were purchasable. It was that you need to evo them off to lock in for Cade. So Cade was a gameplay section, and part of the gameplay was tied behind money or gambling, getting them through this. That's what I had a problem with when it's gameplay related. There's nothing gameplay related around locking a Kevin Durant. Realistically, if you want to use a cheaper Kevin Durant, go for it. If everybody, like right now, if there was an abundant, like if they put Kevin Durant here for $50, let me explain what would happen if they'd done that. Let's say $50 for Kevin Durant. For anyone that just was, a lot of people that would have normally opened packs and gambled in this game would have just said, bought Kevin Durant. Okay. People that would normally put in $50, $200k once a week, probably would have just bought Kevin Durant and not gambled. And I think more people would have, a lot of people that wouldn't put money in anyway would say, you know what, I'll go for Kevin Durant. A lot of people that would normally go to the black market would have said, I'll buy VC, I'll buy Kevin Durant. It's cheaper. It's actually probably a cheaper alternative than going to the black market. And then what then happens to the auction house is this. So this Kevin Durant, instead of being 750, 800k, is 300k. Ricky Davis might go up by 100k. Ricky Davis might go from 600 to 700k. But because there's no lock-in, it wouldn't make any difference. But there would be less of, SP open packs would be less of a supply. So this Kevin Durant will be down significantly in price. But also this Kevin Durant will be down significantly in price. Because realistically, with this KD being cheaper, this KD is the budget alternative. And he's 60, 70k. So a budget alternative to like a 700k card, 70k, seems reasonable. But if he's like 250, 300k, his budget alternative goes down to like 25, 30k. Because most people that have like, because anyone with less than like 2 million MT is probably not spending 700k on a Kevin Durant. They're probably not doing it. But you might have, anyone with less than 1 million MT definitely isn't. A lot of people with that price range that want to use Kevin Durant will buy this card, which is means that's being artificially pumped up. Whereas if this card became way more accessible, the anyone who had like people that had 500-600k might buy this card, whereas they can't afford them now. And those guys in that price range, instead of going down to this Kevin Durant, are buying this one, which pushes down the price of this one because the demand is lower. Even though the supply is probably going to be the same, the demand is going to be lower, the price is going to go down. So lads, I don't see any benefit in what has happened. I don't see any benefit in doing this week from any perspective. It's just, it doesn't make sense. What they did last week was a great step in the right direction. I don't think it was the most, obviously it wasn't the most consumer friendly thing ever. Obviously not. Like, if we don't like what's happening with like something like this, speak with our dollars, don't buy it. It wasn't the most consumer friendly thing. Should it have been cheaper? Of course it should have been cheaper, especially when dimes were 35. We shouldn't have had pink dimes at 200. If it was like 100k or 99k, if it was the same price as 10 pack box. Do I think maybe that pushes the card price 2 down? Sure. I don't think any cards are overpowered enough right now to make that big of a difference. Was it the greatest thing in the world? No. But it's a much better alternative than what we have right now. It's a much better alternative than what we've had through the years. And while sure, it can be predatory in the way of monetizing a game and being predatory in terms of making the game pay to win, sure. I just think that's a much lesser evil than predatory in the way of getting people hooked on gambling, which I believe is the most dangerous thing out of these loot boxes. It's not the fact that a game is pay to win. Like, obviously that matters. I don't want that, but there's alternatives. Skill will always take precedence over pay to win. But what I think is the most predatory aspect is the fact that these games, such as 2K and FIFA, have turned tens or have thousands, if not tens of thousands, of people into gambling addicts. This is a gateway for so many kids into gambling. And what happened last week? If they had done that every single week, maybe a kid who gets his parents to buy him a $50 PSN card for Christmas, when like LeBron comes out Opal, which we're probably gonna get at Christmas, instead of them using that money to gamble, they just get an Opal, LeBron Opal, because they want the card. I just think it's a better alternative. I think it's a better alternative. I think this is a huge step backwards. It's a massive step backwards. And I actually think in terms of how much money 2K make short term anyway, it's a step backwards as well. So I don't think it benefits anyone. I don't think it benefits us. I don't think it benefits the company. I don't think it benefits anyone in the player base. The only people that this benefits are the pack addicts. That's it. Like, because I know a lot of creators were like heavily against the thing that happened last week, and I actually heard one creator say, things need to be made cheaper so that more people, quote, so that more people have access to opening packs. We're getting to the stage now where the MyTEAM community is back promoting gambling, and I gotta put a stop to that. I couldn't care less if you want to take a stand against monetization in video games, cool. But the fact that most of the people that are taking a stand against monetization in video games in terms of creators are simultaneously starting to actively promote gambling, that's an issue. Anyway, rant over, lads. DBG out.